You know, I haven't done a whole lot of short track racing in NASCAR Heat 3. That changes today as we will be simulating the Martinsville First Data 500, the next race in NASCAR's playoffs. And today I'm going to be driving as Brad Keselowski, even though Brad Keselowski looks nothing like Brad Keselowski. Holy cow, that's a bad likeness. It's almost as if he did not sell his likeness to the game. It's so bad. Wow. Oh my god, I'm completely distracted by how bad that Brad looks. Hold on, we just gotta look at this one more time. Okay, so there's Brad. You know what the problem is? His face is too filled out. He's a lot skinnier than that in the face, and it's just not... Yeah, that's bad. Well, anyway, we're gonna take... you know what it is? Remember that actor from the Daytona Day commercial? Hold on, let's wait just for a second. Let's wait for it to come back up. Yeah, I think this is the actor from the Daytona Day. Remember Bad Cop Drama Guy? That's him. So we're going to drive today as Bad Cop Drama Guy here at Martinsville and try to get the victory. So we're ready to go for the First Data 500 at Martinsville. Let's take a look at some of the stories. Truex seems like he's got the car to beat. Casey Kane has been struggling all weekend, and that doesn't really surprise me considering current events. We are rolling off in the 17th place position in the Miller Genuine Draft car with Bad Cop Drama actor. We're underway and racing at Martinsville as we head down into turn number 1 for the first time. Nice long race here. I think it's like 100 laps at least for a quarter distance race, though the laps do tick by very quickly. Of course, this is a 3-stage race with the heavy cautions on, or the strict cautions on. So we should be able to have a very realistic experience here, considering it's a quarter distance race. As I'm roughing up my teammate. Oh no, that's a teammate! But we're gonna, I think, send it up the inside of Logano on the curb, going down into turn 3. That is a very treacherous corner. It has been in all of these NASCAR Heat games, because you can end up sending yourself down the pits and really screwing yourself over. You go down there under green flag conditions and speed at the same time, your race is pretty much 3 laps down to the bad. I think that happened in the career mode race and NASCAR Heat Evolution to me, and we're now 2 games past that, and it's still a little bit of a problem. Though I will say they've worked on the brakes significantly. It's not like dirt tracking constantly when you're coming into the corners at tracks like Martinsville. You can get on the brakes and get the car slowed down, woed down, and not just slip sliding all over the place as we get McFlurry loose off of turn 4 there. Going to be sending it in here on the outside, and can I get past him? Just a little bit of contact, and that'll put me almost up into the safer barrier out of turn number 2. Didn't quite hit it, thank God. We're just kind of stuck here around unlucky 14th. Let's see if we can slide. Well, no, don't really have a run on McFlurry this time. I'm going to try to work around the outside and cut in. Still no. McFlurry moving out about a couple car lengths ahead. Now we'll slice it down to the inside. Try to get the drive off. Very slidey off of turn 4 on the outside with 25 laps to go in stage 1. That is way outside. That's the Larson line at Martinsville, and that doesn't quite work. You can see how high Larson is running 2 cars in front. In fact, it's kind of funny how the 2 Ganassi cars are running very close together here. And also it's interesting that Larson isn't in the First Data car. You would think for the First Data 500 they would coordinate those sponsors a little bit better, but I digress. Regardless, I think we're going to be seeing lap traffic very early on in this race. One of the things I do really like about NASCAR Heat 3 is the fact that the field spreads out a realistic amount, and it really does seem like there's, almost like the F1 games, car tiers, and some of the back marker cars really are much slower than the top of the line equipment, and that does lead to nice realistic racing with the ability to have to claw your way through lapped cars. That is always such a key to this oval racing, and particularly the short track racing, as I'm really starting to push now. Definitely, the tires are definitely falling off just a little bit. I'm really struggling to get around McFlurry. I may have to rub him up, or rough him up, not rub him up. Good grief.
Careful now, still there.
Well, I guess technically it's a little bit of rubbing. I mean, rubbing is racing, but we got a caution So that will end that, and it almost looks like, judging by those skid marks, and yes, it's Jimmy Johnson with a heavy crash in turn number 1. That looks like a brake failure to me. And good grief, that's a whale of a crash right there for Jimmy the Juggernaut. That is unfortunate. I hope we will see a replay of that at the end of the race, because that looks like an absolutely tremendous accident. And I hit the wrong upshift button. How many times must I do that? Corey LaJoie in 14th. What is this? What is this? Yeah, you can see those skid marks almost hit directly on the STP logo on the wall there. So I lost a couple of positions by not being smart enough to actually upshift the car. Now we're going to get into the back of Corey LaJoie. And good grief, we managed to lose 2-3 spots on that restart that I didn't really need to. AJ Allmendinger was the other one who kind of snuck in there and took advantage of the situation. But we are going to get down to the inside of LaJoie. And possibly McFlurry. Sure, why not? On the curb. Road race style, around McFlurry. Get around him, and you can see the front of the Genuine Draft Ford is starting to look a little bit worse for wear as I get on the curb. Wheel hop it up in the air and continue on. Now Kyle Busch. Have you ever noticed that the NBC commentators in particular, every time Kyle is mentioned, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, it's always Cal. It's the Cal and Cal show. Especially when they're racing for the win. Just an observation as Suarez is working his way up behind me. Suarez, obviously, he's fighting for a job at the current moment. We may be seeing him in a Stewart-Haas car come next year. We'll just have to wait and see as we get underneath Cal Busch and trying to work underneath him, and I managed to pull it off. Now down into the corner. Keselowski chasing Allmendinger. Or not Keselowski. This is not Keselowski. This is bad cop drama man. I need to remember that. Come on, David, keep your drogue straight. I know Martinsville is a dizzying track, but you can't allow yourself to get confused by it as I got very slidey into that corner. And it looks like Larson's starting to move up through the field, so he is trying to make good for his sponsor in this race that his sponsor sponsors, even though he is not sponsored by that sponsor at this race. Now, let's see if I can get around AJ Allmendinger here. Can it be possible? Oh, we're going to send it around the outside. I think I might have the drive off of turn 4. It's going to be close down the start-finish line. Make the pass, or at least get the car in front, or the nose in front of Allmendinger, but it didn't work out. Allmendinger back to the inside. And we'll make that pass stick, or at least make the car stick. Now we're going to try the inside line. Allmendinger blocks, but I think I'm going to have the preferred line into turn 1. There you go. Oh, that was an outbreak. That was a road race move again, and that was a big mistake for me. That's maybe going to allow Daniel Suarez to get underneath. And that time I got it stopped underneath Allmendinger and around him, and actually forced Suarez by as well, because Allmendinger was on not the preferable line. Now we've got 9 laps to go in the stage already. It's been a very quick stage, obviously, as you can imagine, here at Martinsville Speedway, though just an incredibly long way to go in the rest of the race. So we're going to dive up the inside crash. Oh, another crash. That was David Gilliland around, and why that wasn't a caution I will never understand. That might be a caution as I give a huge block to Denny Hamlin, and for whatever reason, the crashed 92 car of Gilliland did not bring out the yellow. So I guess the meaningless guys in the back cannot bring out a caution. So Denny, you're wrong on that one. Now let's see what we can do here on the curbing. Try to catch up to these fast Stewart-Haas, or this fast Stewart-Haas car, I should say. Kurt Busch. I imagine most of the other ones are even further up in front in this particular race, as Gilliland has managed to get back to the pit, so I guess that's why there's no yellow. I don't know. The consistently inconsistent NASCAR officials even come into NASCAR Heat 3. Well, then again, we think about the first wreck. That was Jimmy Johnson, very popular driver. Would like to see him possibly get back in the race, if at all possible. David Gilliland, not so much. I think if you ask most modern NASCAR fans, or at least the very casual ones, I shouldn't presume too much there, but the very casual NASCAR fans probably wouldn't even know some of the successes David Gilliland had when he was driving for the Robert Yates racing team. Good grief, I almost forgot. If I almost forgot, that means the casuals would have no idea about Robert Yates racing. So, we worked our way up into the top 10, which is good. We'll get some of them stage points. Very important stage points. But regardless, it looks like Denny Hamlin may be a challenger to try to get us back. Ooh, look at this. There goes Hamlin. I was looking at him. He really seemed to be coming up through the field, and indeed, he was. He got around Kurt Busch, and now will work around me on the inside. So there you go. AI fighting back as it looked like Kurt Busch was going to try. Oh, he's going to try a lunge. Wow. AI really fighting hard here towards the end of the stage. It almost seems like they turned up the wick a little bit. So I'm going to have to refocus here. Give Busch a little bit of a love tap, as well as Daniel Suarez. And that'll allow his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate to come back to the inside. So I guess we won't get any stage points. Never mind. I lied. But I suspect the tires, if I can find the menu, yeah, the tires are pretty badly worn, particularly on the right sides. Probably could get away with keeping them on, or keeping the left sides on for one pit stop, but I think that should come towards the end of the race, at least for now. So what we're going to do, we're going to come in for fuel, tires, and do I want to repair? I guess we'll repair the car as well. Everything else is good. I think the car is handling quite nicely. Lost a few positions due to the repairs, but frankly, don't think it's really going to matter. Hopefully we'll see some lap traffic in this stage that isn't just... Wow, I did it again. Good grief. Alright, well, that's what happens when you don't shift a whole lot. Regardless, we're back to racing, and Corey LaJoie managed to get that jump once again. Thankfully, didn't lose nearly as many positions as I did the last time. Oh, here we go. I'm going to give Daniel Suarez a little bit of a rub. Definitely made an aggressive move there. And now we get around Suarez. Wow, that was close, no doubt about it. Now we're going to try to send it around the outside of Allmendinger while everybody's packed together. This is the time to kind of make hay because the sun is shining. On the brakes, try to send it around the outside. A little too aggressive there. A little too aggressive. Now we're going to dive up the inside of Allmendinger and get into the back of Larson. I thought I had it stopped, but I clearly didn't. And then we're going to go up here, and the hottest driver in NASCAR right now, it seems, is Chase Elliott. And he's falling back through the field right now. You know, I'm starting to think that he might be the guy who might get the championship this year in the real life NASCAR Monster Energy Series. So, you just have to watch this space, but he's really starting to look like he's turned it on, and certainly turned it on right there, right into me. In fact, he turned it down into me. As Allmendinger tried to get to the inside, he's in a contract year, and he is actually pretty fast at Martinsville usually. He was the guy, if a lot of people forget during, or haven't forgotten, during Jeff Gordon's last win, Allmendinger was the guy he had to fight off. So we work down here into turns 3 and 4, diving up the inside on the curb again just a little bit. Should be able to get Larson by the time we get into turn 1 here. I don't think he's going to be that much of the late breaker, though he is hanging around the outside. That is the Larson line, but look at that. Nice clean racing. Maybe just a scrape going out of turn number 2. And now we get around Kyle Larson. So Larson falls back in the rearview mirror. Now we're going to be looking at Kurt Busch. And then I think it's Kyle Busch. So the Busch brothers up in front of me. And can I get around them? Get around, round, I get around. Ooh, again, got to be careful on the curbs, because otherwise it's really going to upset the car, ruin my lines through the corners, and generally just make it unpleasant for me to try to go through these very tight turns at Martinsville. But at the same time, I've got to challenge the Busch brothers if I can. with 21 laps to go in the stage. Obviously, a long way to go in this stage. But assuming we don't have another tire failure or brake failure or whatever happened to Jimmy the Juggernaut, I think we should see lap traffic. So that should be very interesting to see how the AI cars work through the traffic. I know in previous versions of this game, the short tracks were kind of gimme races. It was like, it was so easy to win these things. It was, especially Martinsville, it wasn't even a contest. And this race has been very, very competitive. But part of that trouble that the AI had was, A, getting through the corners efficiently, and 2, really, they struggled in lap traffic. So once we get up to the lap cars, we'll have to see how it all works out. We know from the dirt stuff, the career mode stuff, that, we got a car blowing up. We got a car blowing up, it looks like, out in front. I saw some smoke. Chase Elliott will get to 10th because I screwed up coming through one of the corners, got on the curb, and that is Jamie McFlurry. So Jamie McFlurry, engine failure, out of the race. And that will probably be the end of his day, as that car will go behind the wall and be out of this contest. Again, no caution. So NASCAR keeping the race green. Oh, Chase Elliott blocking to the inside there. Nice move. Look at that, still on fire down in the pit lane. Might want to put that out, boys, for Jamie McFlurry. Looks like William Byron, or William, as Mr. Earnhardt calls him, is holding this whole queue up.
Still there.
So if we can get around William, I think we're going to be in good shape. McFlurry's car is still on fire. I'm just trying to get around the outside. There we go. That's a run. That's a run on Chase Elliott. This high line, very hard to get it to work the way you like it, but right now it's working for the two. The throwback deuce and down to the inside of Kurt Busch. I tried to get back to the inside there. Now Chase Elliott trying to take advantage. We might have to continue to use this outside lane because the inside lane seems to be about as clogged up as a toilet in a dorm room. But right now, getting around Kurt Busch. Just a little bit of too much brakes there. Car kind of shot off. Here comes Elliott. He didn't quite get to the inside though. And on the brakes, just sending it around the outside. And the fire has finally been put out on the McFlurry car. And William Byron was looking to the outside there. It looks like Hamlin is going to probably get around William Byron here in a second. Just don't put him on the outside lane, as I almost got into the back of Kyle Busch as Kurt Busch continues to work down the inside. These Toyotas. Brake lockup. Kurt Busch back to the inside and around. And we'll be back on the outside again.
Still there. Inside.
And the brothers Busch, well, one of them's down. Well, last 10 laps of the stage, Spotter. You're getting a little presumptuous with assuming that the race is about to end. It is not, just the stage. But we're just now, it looks like the leaders are in the lap traffic right near the end of the stage. I got into Kyle Busch just a little bit there. Working around the outside lane, still not quite able to get the car settled through there properly. Looks like DJ Kennington's going to be the first car we end up lapping for this group. So is DJ Kennington going to remain on the bottom, or is he going to end up in the top lane? The top lane that I am using to great effect currently to try to dispatch a lot of these guys that I'm racing with. There you go. Look at that, around the outside of Kyle Busch. And oh, there's another crash. And it's that was David Reagan. Spun on the inside of the fourth corner. Hamlin saw it. Hamlin backed off way too much. He might have been expecting a caution. Wow. And there's, oh my God, a big pileup. And now finally NASCAR throws out the yellow. The 51's involved. Oh my goodness. And we are going to have a yellow. green, white checker finish. I think, yeah, that's not the end of the stage. So we are going to have a shootout here for the stage. I could come into the pits for track position. Actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say screw the stage points. No, never mind. There are a lot of people pitting. Yeah, I should come in. This is the strategy that's going to win this race, I think. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take the L right now, which is going to be 21st. But in giving up those stage points, all of these guys ahead will have to come into the pits. And once again, I've forgotten what the upshift button is. That's 3 races in a, or 3 restarts in a row, which I've forgotten that. But regardless, we're back to racing for just a few laps here before the end of this particular stage.
Still there.
So got to the back of Ty Dillon. Kamikaze will be happy. 2 to go. In stage 1, Ty Dillon, Matt DiBenedetto, very slow. Austin Dillon's back there, probably going to try to avenge his brother here in a second. Whoa, Daniel Suarez and me get together. And Suarez almost speared off into the wall. That was close. 1 to go in the stage, presented by First Data, Credit One Bank, and Cheerios. And here comes Austin Dillon down to the inside. Can't make it stick at the moment. He might get me before the end of the stage. Oh, we're going to split 3 wide there between Bowman and Dillon and get 19th. So how many cars are going to be ahead of me that pitted? Possibly DiBenedetto will be the leader. No, Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon will be the leader, coming back to the green flag as we've got a lot of guys pitting. It looks like Daniel Suarez is going to be the one who really gets caught out by all of this. You can see down through the rest of the field everybody else who has been in or to the pits or in trouble at one point during this race. So we're not going to pit. We'll start on the front row. Sandwiched between 2 Dillons in the running order. Michael McDowell's up there. This may be the part of the race where the AI maybe have made a tactical error, and I did it again. Michael McDowell to the outside. I swear, I just keep forgetting. It's force of habit from the old games. And so Ty Dillon will get the lead. And Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon, they're running behind. With 57 laps to go, this is where the race really comes into its own. This is where we're going to decide it. Remember how I said 2 tires was going to be the key to this one? Guess what? If this race goes green to the end, which it may not, but regardless, I'm going to be able to come in for 2 tires because I got 4 fresh ones under the caution just prior to the end of the stage. And if we can get around Ty Dillon right here, that's really going to put us in good shape. I almost made a dive there, but again, I think I've got plenty of pace over Ty Dillon. I'm going to be careful, make the move smart, which I did right there around Ty Dillon. Now he'll battle with his brother Austin, and I might actually be able to pull away here just a little bit. We'll see. These cars that are directly behind me aren't quite the front runners, certainly not been the front runners in this particular race. Those guys are about mired in 20th, 21st position. That was exactly where I was earlier in this race, though Joey Logano, he may have something to say about this. I think I roughed him up earlier in the race. If he can get around a lot of these guys. Ty Dillon been shuffled out majorly. It's now Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, Logano. That's your 2nd through 4th. But look at that. I'm really starting to set some fast times. 19.3. I think that's the fastest lap I've ever done at Martinsville in this game. Oh, man, and loose condition caught me out. That's the first time I've had the car. Wow, that was interesting. Okay, so we did have, I got a loose condition off of that corner, and Austin Dillon will briefly take the lead, though I think I will get him here. Box him out. That'll actually allow Stenhouse down to the inside. So back to the front. Now I know where I'm in trouble on corner exit. Yeah, I can feel the back end breaking away just slightly.
That was a great lap.
Despite the fact that I just ran an even faster lap that time around than I had the previous time, where the spotter said, hey, great lap. So now we have all sorts of cars in the pits. a very high attrition rate here at this race. Just kind of fascinating. Let's work off right next to the Toyota banner there. All the way down, next to the curbing. Crossing the line, 49 laps to go. So what do we got fuel mileage wise? I think 20 laps was the number. The left side tires, they're wearing at a pretty nice rate. So everything's good from that perspective. Half a second separates me and Stenhouse. And that lead is growing, albeit growing slightly. Work down the backstretch here on the brakes. Bring it down next to the curb on the throttle. And we're starting to already see the back of the field. Interesting. That looks like traffic is going to be a bigger factor now that I'm out front in this race. It seems like I've really increased the pace of the race significantly. And now we're going to be, well, we're going to be the first one through the traffic, which is going to be interesting to say the least. Because a lot of times when you're the leader, the lap cars trying to stay on the lead lap are not going to be as nice to you as they would otherwise be to the second, third, fourth place guy. It's Stenhouse now suddenly coming up, and we've got smoke. Appears to be possibly another engine failure. I don't think it's a crash, though it could bring out a crash if everybody doesn't play nice. But no, into the pits, and it's Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. with an engine failure. So that, let's consider this as a chase race. That would not do his playoff hopes very much good, would it? And now off of corner number 2 and looking towards the back of the field. Danica Patrick back here, 51 car of Rhodes. Rhodes was in that big pileup caused by David Reagan.
Great job, driver. That's a fast lap right there.
Here we go at 19.1. Continuing to pour the heat on. Down the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4. Danica Patrick. She's 2 laps behind the race. So I don't know how Danica fell that far back. She may have made a green flag pit stop at one point. And Truex is coming back out into the race. Truex has made repairs and is returning to action. Well, they beat that 5-minute crash clock. And they're getting out there. Or 6 minutes, sorry. I guess the extra minute helped him. And now we're going to get underneath Danica Patrick. Put her another lap behind the race. And now, well, I wish she would have been a little bit meaner to her ex-boyfriend there, but she wasn't. She let Stenhouse by pretty easily there, and now Stenhouse looking to the inside. William Byron really suffered in that pit sequence. He's way behind the field now. Battling in the 30s here. Get a little bit of contact there. That may open the door for Stenhouse, and indeed it does. Stenhouse to the inside, but nothing doing. Out of the outside of Rhodes. Oh, yellow. Caution. What have we got the caution for? I don't know. No. We can't come into the pits yet. I was seeing if I could do it. Can't. So we'll come back to the green. This time I'm going to get the shifting right. Got my finger on the correct button this time. We won't go into the cockpit view. We should have a good restart here. As we exit the Geico restart zone, race is back underway. And with 36 laps to go, everybody going to have to make one final pit stop in this race. So off of the corner, down the back straightaway. What is going to happen here? A little bit of understeer from the car, but we're okay at the moment. 35 laps to go in the race. Stenhouse closing in. It's Chase Elliott in the pits. So Chase Elliott has trouble. So Chase Elliott out of the race. And ironically, Truex is back in the race. Though I didn't take a look at the running order under the yellow. Probably should have. See exactly where everybody stacks up in the grand scheme of things. But right now, the only thing that matters is that I'm 0.4 of a second ahead of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Rennie Stenhouse Jr. That was an interesting name. And moving almost half a second out in front, 7/10 back to Logano. Might be a good day for Team Penske, but it's a bad day for Brad, or not Brad Keselowski, but bad cop drama man, because Stenhouse goes into the lead. At least for now. Oh, big slide off of turn number 4, and Stenhouse leads at Martinsville, and Logano gets the inside. Austin Dillon's back there. What has gone on with my car? Why suddenly has the car gone off? But it has. Perhaps I ran it a little too hard at the start of the stint. I just don't know. But regardless, we now have 2 obstacles to pass. A lot of mid-corner push. I'm probably driving into the corner too hard, to be honest with you. So kind of trying to get a better drive off. Still sliding a little bit. It's definitely very loose towards the end of this stint. See as I kind of back the car up going into the corner there. Logano's looking for the lead on Stenhouse, but those 2 racing together will hopefully bring me back up into the fight. There is the case of lap traffic as well, plus the final pit stop. There's still a chance to get back into the lead and race for this win. But if you look at this from a prediction standpoint, could you imagine Ricky Stenhouse leading? Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott having trouble. Really, we don't have a lot of chasers up here in the fight right now. Most everybody who was eliminated. So Chris Buescher running 5th. Good run for him as well. We're just starting to lose sight of the 2 Fords in front of me. Again, thankfully, I should only need 2 tires. You can take a look at the tire wear. The rears are definitely wearing at a faster rate, and that would make sense because of the fact that I've been sliding the rear, as you can see, going into the corner. We have 25 laps remaining in this one. Stenhouse has a 1.2 second advantage over me, 0.3 or 0.3 of a second to Logano. So there you go, now 25 laps to go. So I think I overestimated by a lap there. And 1 second can be made up into the pits, or in the pits. No doubt about that. Game did lag a little bit, and that always concerns me in this game, because that usually means that somebody has gotten into an incident of some variety or the other. Right now we're hanging on to it. Hanging on to this race is Logano, and there you go. There's the. I knew it. I knew it was coming. Couldn't possibly have a green flag pit stop to end this race. That would have been entirely too interesting. So now we got to make a choice, and I think I'm going to go with the right sides only, no repair. Yeah, we can do 1.5 cans of fuel. That's assuming that there isn't a green-white checker. Paul Menard goes 13 spots up, all the way up to 6th. So now we're going to have to see if the tire choice was the right one as we go back to racing. And it's a 3-wide battle into turn 1. I got into Stenhouse and got into Logano. Paul Menard moves up into 3rd. Buescher down to the inside. That was an aggressive move for me. It didn't work. And Stenhouse still struggling with his handling as they went through corner number 4. 19 laps to go. And there's definitely not a real chance of getting into lap traffic, so I'm going to have to pass all 4 of these cars on merit. Oh, almost crashed into my pseudo teammate Paul Menard right there. Managed to keep it off of him. But right now we're hanging on to it. So we're going to just get in between Menard and McDowell there. Whew, that was a close one. And on the outside, McDowell making the inside pass there. So I'm definitely struggling for grip. Despite the new right sides, the left sides are not working out.
Stay up high. Still there.
And I continue to tumble through the field. Back end sliding. Whoa, there was Bloomin' Newman looking. Couldn't get there though. So I ride it out through the center of the corner. We're now down to 6th place, I should say. Lots of Ford machinery up here at the front. In fact, no Toyotas whatsoever to speak of anywhere near this. It's all Chevy and Ford. On the throttle, across the line, 14 laps to go. Oh, big slide again, the back end. I probably should have tightened up the car in the pit stop. That was probably the one mistake I made, because you can just see, on throttle, it ain't working. Oh, it's just giving me the business is Ryan Newman. Eric Almirola would technically be the winner in terms of the chase drivers, at least at the moment. Unless there's anybody else back there, but there really isn't who's actually involved in it anymore. And there goes Newman to the inside. He smacks it down the inside of me. That was a huge braking maneuver from him. And we're going to crash for good measure into Eric Almirola. And that will bring out the yellow. So we'll get a restart opportunity here. I'm surprised that brought out the yellow, but it did. So we're not going to pit and advance the green flag restart. And thankfully, we are restarting this thing on the inside line. So let's see what happens. So we're racing again at Martinsville. Not an amazing restart from me. Oh, Eric Almirola coming back at me. I tried to cut up in front of him, and that was a mistake. And here we go. Jimmy Johnson is somehow back in the fight, but boy, I really got upset by all of that. Ross Chastain is up in here. Got into the back of my real teammate, Ryan Blaney, blocking Chastain and Allmendinger. Oh, man, the back end of the car just so incredibly loose. There we go, a little bit better. Just across the line, got 6 laps to go. Can we pass car number 6? Trevor Bayne. Nope, it looks like Allmendinger's going to give me the business down to the inside. Another slide into Allmendinger. And around the outside, can I get him? Oh, that was a power slide. That was a power slide. 5 laps to go.
5 to go. You got this.
Using the outside lane once again, just trying to get around Allmendinger, putting it in the wall. We're going so hard right now. So interesting. It looked like I had this race in the catbird seat.
Still there.
But the caution flags did not fall the correct way. With this race, if I'd gotten that green flag pit stop, we would have been in really good shape, I suspect. All things being said, it looks like we're going to finish right about where we started. I think I started 17th. At the moment, it looks like it may be 14th. We might be able to get this unlucky 13th. Off of Allmendinger, we'll see. That didn't quite work that time. Car slid out just a little bit. Does feel like the car's settling down just a little bit, or I'm driving it a little bit better. 2 to go. Oh no, a yellow. Well, we still got 14 laps of fuel, but we are restarting 14th for NASCAR overtime. Well, this will be interesting. Here we go.
Cars off. Coming to the green. Be ready. Ready.
On the outside, not the preferred line.
Couple more turns.
And I don't know how I didn't hit the wall right there. We will get around Trevor Bayne, possibly pass Allmendinger, and indeed we will pass Allmendinger as well.
All right, now clear low. That car there is on your inside.
Somehow this extreme outside lane worked out very well for me, and we're looking at possibly a top 10 here.
1 more to go. tight there, driver.
Can I get that run off? No, I can't. We're back into Trevor Bayne there as we head into the final corner. Well, I had an amazing restart, but it's going to be bumper and banging between me and Allmendinger across the line. It's going to be like that finish a couple years ago where there's a crash and Kyle Busch helps me across the line in 24th. Unbelievable finish to this one. Oh, that was just like the finish in, I think it was 16, it was 16 or 17. There's just that big, massive pile up at the end of the race. 104 speed rating, I think that's pretty good. Let's take a look at the replay. The race start, obviously took the green flag. I want to see if we can see that Jimmy Johnson crash. As you can see the front row there, it actually predicts Truex would be on the pole position. Now that's the restart. So let's take a look at the long replay here. See if we can't find, nope, got just the restart there. So we made a pass for 13th place. There's me getting, or there's David Gilliland and Ty Dillon. And Gilliland got across the curb there and spun out, and that's what caused that accident. Fascinating. Do we see any contact as the leaders come by? No, we don't. So we did get to see that particular incident. Kyle Busch and Daniel Suarez had an incident as well. Oh yeah, that's because of me. That's why. Okay, we go to lap 32, and Martin Truex Jr. took that win in stage 1. Then, for some reason, they show me taking the checkered flag, making the pass for 7th place. We know all about this. Brendan Gaughan and Harrison Rhodes. This is the other big crash of the day. This was the one that really kind of set a lot of things in motion. And David Reagan, what was David Reagan doing? He was backed up across the track there and caused an absolutely massive pileup. Lap 63, we got all this stuff. We know what happened here. The one thing I do want to see as well, though, is the pass for the lead, obviously, on Ty Dillon. And we go all the way to the end of the race, possibly. Oh, this is another crash. No, this is the engine failure for Truex. So I guess we will watch this. Ooh, yeah, there was almost a crash there. That was almost a yellow. There's where I lost the lead, unfortunately. Let's see if we get the caution for what happened. No, we did not. So we go to lap 108. I was working my way back up through the field, and then we had a little bit more contact there. And on another restart, we jump into the back of Blaney. Lap 120, made a pass for 13th, and then lap 128, there's the crash at the end of the race. So the game predicts that Ricky Stenhouse will win at Martinsville. How accurate do you think that is? This game has been pretty accurate in the past, so we'll just have to wait and see down through the rest of the field. Truex with a stage win, but 1 lap down, and a lot of attrition during this race. I was actually surprised. It was actually a fairly interesting race from that perspective. So thank you guys so much for watching this. If you did enjoy it, enjoy NASCAR Heat 2, enjoy NASCAR content, enjoy motorsports content, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we will see you in the next video.